What's going on, everybody? So I am in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and I am sweating my butt off. I'm here at my middle son's baseball tournament. And here I'm at the Ripken Experience, which is an amazing complex with just amazing fields. First time we've ever been here, and I'm just blown away. So if you haven't gathered this yet, the Ripken Experience is named after the Ripken family, but most notably Cal Ripken Jr. If you're not a Major League Baseball player, maybe you just started watching the game, you may have heard of Cal Ripken, maybe you don't know who he is. So let me just tell you this. Cal Ripken is probably the greatest shortstop, or arguably one of the greatest shortstops to ever play the game. He's one of few Major League Baseball players that had 400 home runs, had 3,000 base hits, was a 19-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. But what Cal Ripken is most known for is the amount of consecutive baseball games that he played in a row. Cal Ripken played 2,632 games in a row, which is unprecedented. It is basically a record that people say will never be broken. How many times do you hear in sports, it doesn't matter what sport it is, that records are meant to be broken? But with this record, I mean, it is basically said like nobody will ever break it. Before that, Lou Gehrig was the closest. He had, I think, about 2,100 games. Anywhere close to that was around 1,200 games, and no one is even in this vicinity right now. So he definitely is in a league of his own. What I want to talk about with Cal Ripken and just what we can learn from that is how do you play 2,632 games in a row, or how do you work 2,632 games in a row? Like, how do you, whatever you're doing in your life, how do you dedicate so much of your effort that nothing stops you from doing what you were meant or called to do? And that is what Cal Ripken did. But here's the thing with Cal Ripken. Growing up, I mean, he was a great baseball player, but he was more known as a power pitcher. He never even played shortstop. And his first season playing the minor leagues, being a shortstop, he committed a league high 33 errors in his first year as a major league shortstop, and many were doubting if he could make that transition from being a power pitcher to a shortstop. But Cal Ripken believed in himself. So what did he do? He worked at it, he stayed extra, he showed up early, and he basically committed the fact that no one was going to outwork him. Like, that was the commitment that he made to himself. What can we take away from that? Like, when you hear about successful entrepreneurs, successful business people, these are the ones that dedicate their time, dedicate their energy, they dedicate their life to accomplishing whatever goal that they have, that they set for themselves. Now, it's funny, I think it was the first All-Star game where Cal Ripken and Derek Jeter had played together. You know, and Derek Jeter, who some may argue is the greatest shortstop, you know, that'd be a really good debate. But Derek Jeter was asking Cal, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you play every day? Like, what do you have to do to be able to play every day? I mean, this is Derek Jeter, who was, at that time, you know, very well known. Many thought like he was kind of like Cal's predecessor, and he's going to his mentor, asking him, like, how do you do it? Like, teach me, oh great one, how do you do it? And Cal simply responded, I just play. He went on further to say, it wasn't the fact that he showed up for work, it was the fact that he showed up to work. Do you see the difference? It's not just showing up for something, it's showing up to do something. And that's what he did. He showed up to work. So he did everything that he felt he needed to do to have the conditioning, to have the preparation, to have the skills. You know, I talked about how when he was a minor leaguer, how he had a league high 33 errors. So all that extra practice, all that extra fielding of just taking ground ball after ground ball after ground ball, that ended up leading him to where he, at the time, had a record 95 consecutive games without an error. Now that record has since been broken, but that year that he had 95 consecutive games without an error at the shortstop position, he only committed 3 errors for the entire year. So it wasn't just practicing and getting better when some doubted he could even be a shortstop at the major league level. Not only was he a shortstop, but he was one of the best defensive shortstops to ever play the game. I think the biggest takeaway I want you to get from Cal Ripken, and in my experience being here at the Ripken Experience, is that if you want something, you gotta put in the work. I see so many people that they'll leave comments on my YouTube channel that, oh, I need to do that, or I want to do that. And I typically always challenge them with something like, when are you gonna make that happen? When is your deadline? Like, when's the date that that's going to launch? When's the date that you're actually gonna commit to doing that? Because those are just words, but we wanna have action words. We wanna hold ourselves accountable. So if you need to do something or you want to do something, you gotta do it. You gotta put in the work. You gotta be like Cal and show up to the field early. You gotta stay to the field late and make sure that you are putting in the work. Success doesn't just come to you. It's not a gift. It's something that you have to earn. All right, now I want to put it in your hands. I want to know, when was a situation where you put in the extra work? Did you show up early? Did you stay late? Something where it wasn't asked of you, it was just something that you felt that you needed to do to get the job done. Now this could be for a business, it could be a side hustle, it could be at your current employer. But give me an example how you put in the extra work, what you did to get the job done. Just like Cal, that you didn't just show up for work, you showed up to work to get it done. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a like, share it with your people, and also reminding you that this is Jeff Rose, it's your money, your life, and only you can make it awesome. Make sure to put in the work. We'll see you next time. Peace.